Dream Hotels and Resorts, 4 or 5 years ago, sat down as a group, of sort of Vanguard, as we call it, which is a group exco, and said, what makes us unique? What really makes us as an organization, different? And, we just felt that tourism and hospitality had the potential to have a real impact on the country's economy. And, we were one of the largest growing industries, and thus could actually probably, come to be part of the solution to, job creation, education, building work within the communities. So the group decided to form its own business unit, which I, as Chris, lead, and that's called the Art of Creation, in order to, bring all of our units together. And we couldn't do that as a corporate. We wanted to bring the whole industry together. So in order to do that, we decided to found Touching Dreams, which was a non-profit company that could actually work with the whole of hospitality and not just Dream Hotels and Resorts. So that needed to be independent, and it also needed to register in order to be a contributor to the economy, in that we would raise funds, we would reinvest those back into community projects, and at the same time we could achieve a Section 18 certificate, giving, tax breaks back to those companies that invested, so that it was actually a joint venture, not only between industry, but also bringing government into it at the same time. We've just spent the day at Lungcliff Orphanage, and that is really just, the start. It's the early childhood development. There we have 45, 50 kids, every day being looked after. And if we could do that in 22 properties and times 50 by 22, we're already, making a huge impact there. But that's just our organization. If I can take that through the whole of our industry, just imagine the difference we can make.
Somebody said to me one day that magic is born out of chaos, and that's the truth. And it starts with you, from your heart. I mean, we went there today. What a wonderfully humbling experience, and also, just the feeling of giving, the feeling of being neighborly, getting involved. I think, it's going to mean a lot for our team as well, to do that as a team effort, for team building, getting involved with the community. And magic is really born out of chaos.
There's definitely a much wider support structure with Touching Dreams and Dream Hotels and whatever, and you can really feel that the people's hearts are in there. It's not like before, everybody just sort of go out and you do these community projects to put a stamp on it and to take a picture. This is different. It feels different, and it's a privilege.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be part of something like this, to say we're doing something that really works.
Yeah.
From grassroots, it goes up and it really works. You can feel that it works.
I'd seriously say probably Lungcliff Orphanage. I mean, it's something that's been going on for a long time. That this early childhood development is a really missing component, and it's so often forgotten about. Children start life uncomfortably. They never will ever climb out of that space. And this is one project which is actually really starting from that 1 year old to the pre-primary. So it's making sure that the kids have a full stomach, that they're actually getting a place of safety, they're feeling loved, they're feeling cared for. Once they get a grounding along those lines, it sets them up so much more for the future. Having a little place to play and kick a soccer ball around about, it's the mobility skills, it's the connecting with other children. It's just feeling, also that there's not an us and them. We're all in this together. So I would seriously say Lungcliff is probably one of these projects we work on, which is really great. Gerard mentioned, other projects that are going. So we support other projects which are already in existence. We formed a partnership with Reach for a Dream. We have dreamers who are children who are not well, and obviously are leading a very difficult childhood, and Reach for a Dream adds that opportunity for those children to experience something with their families, and us as an organization offer those holiday experiences, that opportunity to get away. So I think the partnership with Reach for a Dream has been really strong. We're also working, and have done for a long time, with Crystal House School, which is down in the Western Cape, which is really taking kids that don't have the opportunity to have a good education out of the townships and giving them a high quality education. So in the Cape, we partner with them as well. In KZN, we also work with St. Martin's, which is a similar type sort of situation, but more for primary school kids that have to have left their families due to circumstances. So not an orphanage, more a fostering type situation. And we've done some great work with St. Martin's. But I think similarly, it's not just letting them go when they get to school. It's giving our children an opportunity to actually have a career option. And we'd like to believe that if we involve kids in an early age in seeing what hospitality is all about, they'd like to work in hospitality, they'd like to see that energy. You know, we need people excited about coming into hotels, not to be a room attendant or a barman or a pot washer, but actually to see the career opportunities that they can gain. You know, it's not always the aspirations of becoming a doctor or an engineer or politician. That is really the jobs out there, you know, are going to be in hospitality, and tourism is going to boom in this country. I think all philanthropy models are good, but you know, it's a situation where we look at sort of some of the large corporates, you know, that have got massive amount of money, and they're putting a little bit of those. I mean, some of these big business people have, you know, success that are bigger than countries' economies, and ours is not a big economy. It's not a big business that makes lots of money, and I think this is where Touching Dreams is different. It's not the Bill Gates Foundation, or, you know, we are little businesses coming together, realizing that we can make a difference together. So Touching Dreams is starting, you know, not from a big space. You know, we're starting from a small, you know, community-based project and taking that further forward. Well, I think, you know, just the way Little Switzerland on their confirmation of reservation saying, bring a toy, right, to support the Langkloof project is an example of how we can actually do that. But obviously, our guests coming in, spending money within the organization, you know, and us taking a percentage of that income is already utilizing their money to actually contribute. But people coming, you know, whether it be a local traveler or whether it be an international traveler, they are wanting to make a difference to the environment. They don't want to just be taking out of it, they want to be inputting something into it. So in all of our properties, we have projects like little camo toys that we sell, and a percentage of that goes through. We've got a house wine called Collaborare that we're actually creating, where 15% of the proceeds will be going. So when somebody buys a bottle of wine, 15% of that income will be going back into the community. So it's another reason why when they buy that bottle of wine over another wine, all right, they'll actually be contributing. So it's really...
And it's a good one.
And it's a good one, absolutely. Yeah. You know, we certainly went out there to go and choose a quality product, so it's not going to be the cheapest wine on the block, but it's really one that will add a great deal of value. So it's involving every part of our business, and I think, you know, as even the hotel industry has changed from a fact where there was, you know, the guest was almost like another beast, whereas, you know, now we're involving the guest in our operations. They're being part of the journey. So if we're doing in Cape Town a beach cleanup exercise, we invite our guests to come along with us. You know, when we're doing a wellness day that we might actually be, you know, utilizing within our staff, we're inviting our guests into those wellness days as well. So the guest is very much part of that journey, and when they're feeling included, they just enjoy the experience so much more. Well, definitely it's the unemployment solution, where we looking at bringing in learners into all of our properties, but not just ours. We are starting with our organization with 25 learners this year, but the aim is to create 1,000 job opportunities throughout the industry over the next 2 years. So we can't do that on our own. It's bringing other people, and the one game changer for South Africa is actually solving their unemployment crisis, and I think it's really amongst the youth. So every aspect of government now is understanding through the Yes for Youth program, but we've got to really become part of that journey. So the big game changer into the future is creating employment opportunities, giving the youth hope, and working together, not in isolation, to become part of the solution. So I would say that's where we're working on now, but there's going to be lots of exciting projects going on into the future, exchange programs, I think collaborating with more of our African neighbours, definitely venturing into Africa and having bigger partnerships, because what we're going through in South Africa is not dissimilar to the rest of Africa, and I think Africa is the continent of the future. We have the space, we have the resources, we have the people. We're not soured by necessarily some of the first world cultures, and if we can get it together, I think Africa will be the continent which will show off the rest of the world.